I wish they called it notch pink.
I wish they call it not so pink. Someone that has a better ring to it.
Ooh. Hello and welcome to episode 111 of the Lazy Couch Podcast. We're here to give you all you need to know about consumer tech, the internet, and all of the products that are not pink. My name is Chef Kim, and I'll see you on the line.
My name is Kelvin Lee, and we finally have some fans.
We have fans? You mean the podcast?
Yeah. No, I mean these things I decided to stick underneath my laptop so it would stop burning up during the podcast.
You shouldn't do that to our fans, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know.
No.
My MacBook was always heating up, so during my lunch break, I went into JCar, found some $18 laptop cooling things. On the box, it said super quiet, but let's just say I don't think they understand the definition of super quiet. So hopefully you don't hear anything.
Well, I'm not hearing anything through the headphones, so hopefully it's all good. But you should have done what Beth did and just got yourself a new MacBook.
Sure, $18 versus $1,800. Yeah, definitely. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah.
Or maybe you can choose to spend your $1,800 on something else.
Like what, Jeff?
Ooh, I'm thinking like Google products.
All of them?
Oh, yeah, that's not $1,800, is it? Actually, wait a minute. I think if you get the really low end Slate. Anyway, this week's episode, and it's a quick turnaround from last one, it feels like.
Yes.
And it's just before I go on holidays for a couple of weeks to Middle Earth, also known as New Zealand. So we thought we'll do a quick, well, it might not turn out to be a quick episode, but on the Google event, what did they call it? Made by Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's their hardware division. We're not sure exactly who's building these hardware devices, but
we tried looking.
We have. I know the first Pixel was made by HTC. I think that's the only information I've been able to find about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one last Google shot at to see if anything's changed in the last 12 hours.
Yeah, I do have a follow up while you're doing that though. I had a follow up from the last episode 110, where you, Kelvin Lee, again, Kelvin Lee, you predicted the future.
Oh God!
So when we're talking about IGTV and the downfall of that, this is what you said like a week ago.
That's sort of like Google getting rid of Google Plus, right? I mean, all they did was just change up what it stood for and a couple of the features and everything.
How did you do that?
Well, let's just say I looked into the 8-ball. I have no idea.
Yeah. So Google Plus is dead.
I feel like I have the kiss of death.
Actually, the news for me was just the fact that Google Plus was still alive. That was actually the news for me.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember now. Didn't they say it was communities and photos or something? Didn't they split it up into something?
Like I thought they had rebranded to something else, yeah, but apparently it was still there, and there was a massive breach which they didn't disclose for a couple of years. And
years.
I think so. Wasn't it like 2015 to 2018? This vulnerability existed. Yeah. So I think third-party developers. I mean, maybe this is why Vic and Dotra was like very focused on not opening up the APIs. But once they did, like apparently all the, like you could get private information even if the user had put that setting on. I think my Google Plus profile, like everything was public anyway. Like you know what I mean. So yeah, but Google Plus is dead. I don't know if that's news, but there it is.
But the circles. I missed the circles.
They started the circles.
They did.
It was very fab, as we found out just earlier.
Yeah, after we were riding the Google wave, we came crashing down into Google Plus with all the circles.
Ah, see what you did there. All right, but today we're going to talk about the hardware stuff. And I guess the big thing was the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3 XL, which is literally big. And also the Pixel Slate, which is their... We'll talk about it later, like what that actually is. We're not exactly sure. Also the Google Home Hub is the third thing. So we might talk about it in that order. What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so the Pixel 3. I think it might be a good idea to just I'm pretty sure the listeners would not have been aware of this unless you religiously watch all the YouTube channels like we both do. But there was a bit made of all the leaks that was happening with this device, right?
Yeah, it almost felt like the phone was launched maybe a month ago.
Yeah, and Front Page Tech is a channel that I've sort of come across in the last couple of months, especially. And about a month ago, like this guy John Prosser, who hosts the show, he has a daily show that talks about tech. He's a bit annoying, but he actually has some good things to say. He announced the world that he was contacted by Google, saying that they wanted to use one of his, past YouTube clips talking about how everyone knows everything about the Pixel 3 already. And this was about a month before the event, right? And he there was no NDA to be signed, so he took that opportunity to say, "Hey, this is what Google's doing." So it sort of sparked off all these like conspiracy theories about, well, is Google trying to troll everyone? And just the day before the event, I think you sent me was it on Instagram or was it on Twitter about all the,
yeah, the Twitter one, yeah.
There was like a CNet clip. There was Brian Tong talking about how they felt like they knew everything about the Pixel 3, but Google's basically saying, but do you actually know everything? So that was a sort of the theme, right?
Yeah, and I still don't understand what that was trying to achieve,
because the leaks were correct. But anyway, this is a Front Page Tech.
Yeah.
The day before, I guess. After that video actually went out, he was saying that, he wasn't featured in that video. Like, he expected that. So I'm just going to play this clip from him. It's almost like I told you so.
So, hey, next time you want to call me a shill and accuse me of being paid by a company, remember this moment. I literally chose to tell you guys. I chose you over a relationship with Google. I took that risk. Not everyone would do that.
So this is what it's come down to, Kelvin. Like, YouTube pundits sort of having these battles with, multi-billion-dollar companies on YouTube for the sake of views.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at PewDiePie. So, I mean, they're desperate, right? I mean, a relationship with Google, if it doesn't translate to another 100,000 subscribes, it's not really worth the relationship.
I mean, he like literally doubled his audience on the back of that sort of reveal.
Totally worth it.
You think it's worth it? Okay.
Totally.
Yeah. And this is the clip that I'm sort of like half thinking of not playing, but I think I might now. So this was after the event, and this is how he ended his video.
Oh, yeah, real quick. Hey, Google, fuck you and the horse you rode in on today.
Wow, angry.
Yeah, what about that one?
He does know that Google owns YouTube, right?
Yes, I think so. I hope so.
Okay, well, good luck to him. Because right. There was a bug apparently last week where some of the Twitch guys on YouTube lost a couple of 100,000 subs. So yeah, just saying.
Be careful what you're saying. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the actual Pixel 3. Do you have like an intro clip?
Not so much. Do you?
No, I've got a lot of clips, but nothing about an intro.
But I think the first thing we should cover off is the elephant in the room, and that is the dreaded notch that everyone seems to hate. I've got a good little video, a good little clip from my brother from another mother, Dave Lee from D2D on YouTube, and I will let him kick us off.
Google's Pixel event just went down, and the notch is real. There was a part of me that just wanted to believe that this was somehow a big troll from Google, but it really looks like the notch is a thing. I found it strange or almost humorous that during the event, they did a lot of like camera techniques with the renders, and they used wallpapers to kind of guise or kind of mask that notch, but it's there. I also think that in the software, you can't hide that notch like you can on other Android phones. Like a lot of times you can just pull a black bar down, but I think this notch is so big that a black bar in that region would just look really weird. So I don't think you can actually hide that notch in software as of right now. The notch on the Pixel 3 XL is housing two selfie cameras, one of them being a wide-angle selfie. It's a 97-degree camera angle, which is actually wider than the wide-angle selfie on the LG V40, and it's housing one of the front-facing stereo speakers. So
there is a reason why the notch is so large, and just since Dave recorded that, Android Authority has found a way to remove the notch in the sense that the screen moves down a little bit, and you can do that in the developer settings.
Right.
So it does look like it has a fat forehead and a fat chin, which is still not ideal.
So in this case, when they say the large notch, it's the height of the notch, right?
Yeah,
not the
compared
width.
to like,
yeah,
that's right. So if you compare it to the the LG V40, the OnePlus, it's large. It's a lot bigger than those guys.
Now, I did have the same clip. It turns out.
Oh no.
Dave Lee. It was a shorter version. Just talking about that wide-angle selfie camera, because like in this case, there's two cameras like on the screen, on top of the screen, and there's only one camera at the back.
What?
That seems a little bit misplaced there.
Yeah, I think the reason for that is you can't use software to widen a shot. The biggest issue we all have, I mean, obviously, is that we can't fit all our friends into our selfies. So they did have to stick two cameras in. The other thing that is sort of frustrating is in the in the iPhone 10, even the old one, they had all the different sensors in there to do all the amazing things you need to do for Face ID. The Pixel 3 doesn't have all that, and yet the chin, the notch is bigger than the iPhone 10. So
yeah, it's just taller for seemingly no reason. I mean, there is a better speaker on there, which is the other thing that he talked about.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess because I use headphones all the time and I barely listen to my phone in bed, it never really is a big deal for me having stereo speakers, front-facing ones on a phone. Does it impact you very much?
Well, the only time the notch annoys me is like video, when there's video usage. I mean, YouTube, because it is a wider screen than most phones, like you get that sort of letterbox effect on the sides, and which means the notch doesn't come into play. But maybe I think it's the Foxtel app. Sometimes they play on that full screen, so you sort of miss that left part of the screen. I think Netflix does the same thing. But yeah, like generally I don't notice it, but I think with the Pixel 3 XL, because the XL version is the only one with the notch, by the way, it's because it is so tall, it feels quite obtrusive. Now, Brian Tong is another guy that we follow on YouTube. His take on the notch was a little bit different. Well, different but the same. You'll see.
We did see a whole lot of the back of the phone during the keynote, and it was almost like they were hiding the notch. Like they made sure they were not going to focus on it. Apple fanboys were all up in arms until I pointed out that Apple is doing the same thing with their new wallpapers.
Notch focusing on it. Oh God, what have we become? What have we become? So it's something I guess everyone tries to hide because it's not beautiful. It must really annoy Johnny Ives a fair bit to have the notch.
He's just rolling in his grave, but he's not dead, so that doesn't make sense. What is beautiful about the phone though is the back. I think everyone's talking about the back.
I think everyone's talking about the glass. Everyone's talking about the colored buttons that that have been brought across from the Pixel 2.
Before you go there, Kelvin, I'm going to let our friend Marquez Brownlee, like in his very soothing voice, soothing style, to explain all of this. Here it is.
It's a small design update, but it's clearly still a Pixel. But it's now all glass from top to bottom in between aluminum rails, so typical 2018 fashion. But you still see this two-tone finish, and that's because the bottom half of the glass is a sort of textured or frosted in a way that gives it this soft touch matte finish. It's subtle, and it really only shows up from certain angles, but I like this a lot. It feels nice. And before I forget, the 3 new colors this year are just black, clearly white, and not pink.
I wish they called it notch pink.
I wish they called it not so pink. Someone that has a better ring to it.
Ooh, it's not pink at all, is it?
No,
like from what I've seen.
That's the thing that confuses me a little bit. The white, what was it called? The absolute white. What was it?
Clearly white.
Clearly white, and the not pink look kind of similar on the images.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think
because I need to see it in in real life.
Yeah, but I mean, they've been sort of playing around with the funny names for a little while, I guess. Yeah, so so you're saying that the white and the not pink are similar?
Well, from what I see on YouTube and the screenshots, I mean, did you?
Well, the only thing I noticed was the sort of the highlighted the buttons, which also act as fingerprint sensors. So I think on the clearly white, it's like a minty, bluey, greeny color, and on the pink one, it's like actual pink.
Wait, are those buttons fingerprint sensors as well? Not the one at the back?
They are. Oh wait, hang on a second. I think that's for the Pixel Slate. Maybe.
Yeah, that's. I was like, what?
Okay, sorry about
that. No, that's okay. And I think we were speaking to Beth, one of our colleagues, who is an Android fan, and she's really glad that it's now glass, and I think that's what everyone's saying. It feels better.
Yeah, and the reason is we can do wireless charging with the Pixel 3 now. Pixel 2, I think they took that away with the plastic back. Holla to Alex if you're listening. Apparently it still works through plastic, but yeah, this time it's they made sure of it. Let's talk about some of the camera features. Yeah, so I think Top Shot is what they're calling it's very similar to the iOS what is it, the live photos, I guess. So basically as soon as you pick up the phone, it starts taking photos. And then you get like a 2-second, it's like a constant, what do you call that effect, where it takes multiple photos and it picks the best one based on your smile, the fact that you're not blinking. I've got Dieter Bohn here from The Verge. He did like a live demo, like on the show floor, just to give you a flavor for what that experience is like.
So another feature they've talked about is Top Shot, which is supposed to pick the best photo if you are not smiling in a photo. So I'm going to take a picture here and blink and whatever. So there I took a photo, and if we tap into the photo, you can see it's blinking, and it says pick a better shot here. So I can tap that, and so it slides over to what it thinks is a better shot. I don't know if that's a better shot or not, but there's like a bunch of stuff here, so you can just go through to the best one. Obviously the best one is where I look like a goon.
Is this something that you would use?
I don't know. I mean, usually if you take a bad shot, you take another one. I mean, would you do that, or would you go through all the shots and wait for the supposedly AI to tell you which the next best shot is?
Yeah. So from what Dieter just did, you have to, after you take a shot and you see that it's bad, you have to actually manually say, oh, I want a better picture. I'm not sure if there's an automatic setting for that. Maybe there is. But after you hit that button, the AI actually picks a good one. Whereas on the iOS version, live photos, you have to manually choose it.
Interesting.
So, yeah. I mean, I guess you would use that if it's available. I mean, I've sort of been kind of half joking about maybe getting the Pixel 3 on the back of these demos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to wait till December, which is when my current Telstra plan is up, and see where we're at. But it's definitely a standout. I think there's a couple of things that make the camera very special, and we're going to talk about that in a sec. The Pixel 2 was definitely the best Android camera out there, definitely up there against the iPhones. And what makes it so special is because it's actually got a separate dedicated chip called the Pixel Visual Core. And that works really well with the hardware. Now, it's not the fastest camera. It's a 1.8 f1.8 aperture, but it's got, because of the visual core, it can do things like, night sight, which gives much better nighttime photos. And, there's this image that's going around the internet where it compares what the Pixel 3 can do versus the XS, and apparently it's amazing. It does this because it's got larger pixels, and it's also got OIS, and it also records video in 4K. So very impressive camera, as expected.
The other new thing is super res zoom. So essentially, we're using a digital zoom with the one lens. However, using deep learning and machine learning, is filling in the gaps and making it as good as an analog zoom. So I talked a little bit about the foveated rendering last week, which I think people might have fallen asleep.
Fascinating.
It's a similar thing to that, where it's like trying to work out what those missing pixels are, right? After you zoom in. Here's your brother again from another mother. talking about that effect.
The second feature I find interesting is something they're calling super res zoom. So it's basically a digital zoom, but they're using software to generate missing details. So normally when you take a picture and you zoom in digitally, you lose pixel density, but Google uses an algorithm to generate detail again. It's basically like when CSI has the zoom and enhance, that's what this is doing.
Zoom and enhance, zoom and enhance.
I remember those. And the other thing that's really funny, even though this is all software, what Google is saying is some of these features will be exclusive to the Pixel 3. So if you do have a Pixel 2, unfortunately, you're not going to get everything.
I think Marquez did say everything is exclusive to the Pixel 3, although it's like software updates. Yeah, everything except for the shush feature is the one where you sort of leave it face down and everything goes into do not disturb mode. I think he said that that's the only thing that's not exclusive to the Pixel 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think this is going to be a popular phone?
I think yes, because one, we can talk about the price now, I guess. So for everywhere else in the world, I believe the US price is $799 for the 64 gig version, and the 128 gig is another $100 at $899, and then if you want the XL, you pay another $100. I think what's really fascinating about the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3 XL is hardware-wise, besides the battery and the screen, it's exactly the same. So you're not actually nerfed because you got the 10R where it's a different it's a different screen resolution, etc. You actually do get the same insides for the smaller phone. So I think if you're looking for a small phone, there is no better option if you can afford this.
And it's quite a nice size, I think. I imagine it's similar to the iPhone 10, which I find quite useful, actually.
Yeah, so it's a 5.4-inch OLED display. Both of them are OLED displays. They've got Qualcomm 845s. Now, here's the controversial bit. It's only got 4 gigs of RAM, when if you look at the One Plus, it's got 8 gigs of RAM. But I think if you can use software to be efficient and manage your cache properly, 4 gigs should be more than enough.
Yeah, and the Pixel 3... does not have a notch. It's a notch-free.
Yes.
Also has a chin, and the corners are not rounded. Although it could be a setting that you could do on the software, perhaps. Like some of the Samsung phones, I think. Now, call screen feature. I don't think we'll ever get it in Australia, to be honest. A lot of these phone features, they're only exclusive to America or Canada, maybe. But did you ever get a Google phone number?
No.
Australia never got that, right?
No.
So how do we explain call screen feature? Do you want to give it a go?
Isn't it when if you get a call, it tries to guess where the call is coming from? It basically does a Google search and it tries to figure out.
It does that now, right? It'll tell you what city or even what suburb they're calling from. Here's Lisa Ma, who was one of the. I think she's a product manager. She must be, right? For the Pixel 3. And this is from the recap video, the official Google recap video. So take that for what it is. It's got some cool music behind it, I'm sure. But here's Lisa Ma talking about that.
When you get that call and you can't or don't want to pick up, just tap screen call. And your phone will ask who's calling and why. You'll see the conversation transcribed in real time on your screen. You can decide whether to pick up or mark the call as spam. You'll never have to talk to another telemarketer.
Whoa. So it's actually using duplex.
Yes.
Duplex.
I actually, is that, I gotta admit, some parts of that when they were talking, I sort of just went marketing, and I didn't really listen. So that's what I get. It's interesting. Yeah.
So you get a phone call. You see a phone number that you don't recognize. It might tell you where it's from. Could be India or whatever, but you can now select screen call, and then I guess for the person who's ringing you, they'll hear a Google Assistant saying, "Hey, I'm answering on behalf of my client," or something like that.
My master.
And they'll actually talk to that person, and when they talk back, you see it in text. It's like a real-time text transcription of what they're saying back to you, and then you can sort of choose to respond again by either answering the phone or just saying, "Hey."
So let's play it out. Let's just say you call me from New Zealand. I don't recognize the number. I go, I don't know who this is. Might be a hobbit.
Ring,
Go
ring.
Yeah, go
Ring,
and figure
ring.
it out. So, hello.
Ring.
You're listening.
Hello,
to
sir. Oh, okay. Are we gonna?
No, don't go there, please. I think we've got enough gates to worry about. So, but then what? I take over if I want to take the call. If I know it's Jeff from New Zealand.
Just thinking about how duplex works. So it's either it's doing both things, right? It's listening to the person talking to them, but also working out what to say back in real time. And everything is apparently on device, right? So I guess okay, we're gonna role play here, are we? So I'm the
no.
I don't know what accent to use.
No, don't use any accent. How about that?
Okay, right.
Let's just say you're calling me from New Zealand. I get a foreign number and I don't know what to expect. So yeah, let's give this a go.
Okay, so you don't do anything. You tap call screen or screen call.
Yeah.
I will hear someone saying, "Hi, I'm answering on behalf of Kelvin, and I want to know what you're calling about. Please let me know." And then I'll say, "I'm calling about that
episode,
that episode where you made fun of some race the other."
Okay.
And then you'll see that transcribed on your phone, like a text message.
Yeah. So and then if I want to take the call, do I just take?
Well, you get options. It's like a chatbot. So you can say, well, okay, that's good enough. I'll answer the call, or you can like actually write back. So there might be a bit of a delay. Or you can say hang up, and then I think it does a graceful message. It's actually my client doesn't want to talk to you, so he's going to hang up now, or something like that.
So basically, like talk to the hand. Okay, not a bad feature. I can see it screwing up, but not a bad feature.
But you don't have to talk to a telemarketer ever again.
Yeah, but they're talking to my phone, so that's still.
Surely Google has like a telemarketing division.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the other
they rely
problem,
on
right?
sales. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So probably enough on that. Anything else? I've got a clip from Bloomberg, and do you follow Bloomberg Tech?
Yeah,
YouTube
they're not
channel?
bad. They're not bad.
Yeah, like Emily Chang. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's like usually the one that's presenting or interviewing someone. So she asked he's the VP of product management at Google. His name is Mario Queiroz, and this is a question and answer to do with I guess this new strategy, or it seems like a new strategy anyway.
Google is going all out on this integrated hardware and software strategy, much more like Apple. Why is this a better tact or a better strategy than the prior one of partnering with other companies?
Yeah, our strategy, Emily, is to bring great hardware, but to take advantage of our years of experience in AI and in software to deliver an experience that's more complete and more useful. Our artificial intelligence is not artificial at all. We're really trying to do useful things for consumers.
So I marked that down as the worst answer of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still sitting here waiting for the answer. I mean, is it done?
Yeah, well, he didn't actually say anything.
So, I mean, I have an iPhone and a MacBook, and I actually don't mind receiving calls on my MacBook. So that is a good ecosystem feature. What the hell does AI have got to do with anything? I think it's incomplete. I actually think it's incomplete. I don't think they have this fully thought out yet.
So I think it was more to do with the phone itself, right? The Pixel 3, rather than the ecosystem, I think. So we still don't know who made the hardware for Google. I'd be very surprised if there is a factory that Google created and then actually produced the Pixel 3. Surely that's not the case. But I guess, the focus is like, even in the presentation and the keynote, Rick, I can't remember his name, but the guy who presented, he just kept on banging on about this, like, we're using, the power of software, AI, and building our own hardware to, have this like personalized Google experience.
I think one of the reasons, one as well, I like your theory where it's actually being made by Apple, but the other thing that I think is highly plausible is it's made by a no-name company, so it's not going to buy them any marketing cred at all. So instead of a HTC or a Huawei, it's a random sort of OEM manufacturer, and they don't see the need to have to sell that.
Well, you might be onto something because who is the Chinese company that helps Apple?
Foxconn.
Foxconn. So if it was like Google, don't have to say it was Foxconn that built the Pixel 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's very true.
Okay. Yeah. That's all I've got with the Pixel 3. Anything else?
The other good news is it won't be exclusive to Telstra here in Australia. So Optus and Vodafone have already got some pre-order plans that are out, and it's quite competitive. So Vodafone at the moment is a standout, but don't forget to speak to your telcos about what plans they might have if you're keen on getting the Pixel 3.
So say you've been waiting for like a couple of years. You've been on the iPhone 6, 6S or
7. I'm on the 7. Yeah, 7.
7 even.
Yeah.
Is this a good alternative?
Yeah.
To iOS?
Yeah, I think I for me it was always going to be a Pixel phone or a Android One phone, because updates are important and I love getting the latest stuff. So yeah, I can't wait to sort of play with one.
Okay, let's move on to the Pixel Slate because this is not on Android. This is a tablet, or is it a laptop, or is it a phablet? Is it a phone? It's running Chrome OS. Here's Ars Technica, just as a general intro to what this is.
It's a 12.3-inch tablet running Chrome OS. Very smartly, they've included a fingerprint sensor on the power button. I think that's pretty neat. Dual front-facing speakers, cameras situated in the portrait mode, and it's really sturdy. I like it. It's got a nice camera on the back here. Comes in a midnight blue. I'm going to turn it around. You can see the blue. This device starts at $599. It goes all the way up to $1599. That's a lot of freaking money for a Chrome OS tablet.
Frickin' A.
Frickin' frick.
Yeah. Thank you, CNet, for using that language. We love Ars Technica. We've we go way back, don't we? With
all the way since the Twit network to where he is now at CNet.
Yeah, since he got squeezed out. The Pixel Slate. I mean that description kind of makes it sound simple, but I don't actually know how to describe it. It doesn't really fall under a particular category. It's a combination of everything.
Yeah, for me, it's a Chromebook without the keyboard and it has a touchscreen. So it's the Chromebook without the book. And that's why I think Google has a real marketing issue with they can't even describe their products very well this time around. Just say it. Just say you think Android is not great for tablets and the Chrome OS is amazing because it's the Chrome browser itself has so many plugins which you and I use day to day, and it just works out to be a good productivity machine if you are okay with using those plugins.
That's right. Yeah, I mean by all reports the keyboard that you can attach is pretty good. It feels good travel, but I don't know. Is this more of an iPad Pro kind of competitor, or is it trying to be a Surface?
Yeah, so I've got a little clip here. I think you have a little bit about this as well. I think Dieter interviewing Ken Liu, who is the product manager for the Slate, and I think I've got two clips here on two questions. The first one is why build the Slate, and the second one is what happens to Android and tablets now. So we'll just answer the first one in terms of why build the Slate at all.
You're making a tablet. Wait, you're making a Slate. Why are you making a Slate?
Over the years, we started with clamshells, but as we sort of saw where users are going, touch became more important. That's why we added touch. Then we built convertibles because people wanted the flexibility of having something they can hold in their hand and be closer to them. And then obviously Slate is the next logical step there. And it really is about flexibility for the end user. Also, just in general, it is an important market.
So two things worry me about that clip. One, I'm all for being user first, customer first, but I felt like Google is almost being driven by customer feedback. I want I want it to flip, and then they flipped it. I want a touchscreen, and they put a touchscreen. I feel like they're not taking the lead here, and still not really answering the question.
Trying to be everything for everyone.
And the second clip I have here is, what about Android on tablets? What happens now? So let's see what Ken has to say.
So is Google done making Android tablets? It's been a while, and now you're making a Chrome OS tablet that happens to run Android apps, to be clear. But is this the future of what you think big screen computing from Google should look like?
This is where we're investing. From a full desktop productivity perspective, we believe having a full desktop browser is actually much better for the use cases you have on the web.
Right. 8 years now, we've been saying Android apps not so good on tablets.
Yeah.
What do you think the state of that is? How quickly, where do you think it's going?
Yeah.
When we run Android apps on this thing?
But we've been working very closely with all the top app vendors, and they have been doing a lot of optimizations, right? Whether it's Adobe, for example, has been optimizing a lot of their apps. I think there's still, again, plenty of room for improvement, but we're also doing things at the platform level to make it easier for app developers so that they don't have to even think about some of this stuff.
It's quite funny, and one of my favorite parts about that clip is Adobe is mentioned, and for this podcast we use Adobe Spark a lot to create the imagery, and it's only in beta for Android because I had a quick look, and that is one of the main reasons why I still love it on my iPad and my phone and stuff. I can do things on the fly and cut images and whatnot. So I love it how that's an example because it's so close to home.
Well, that's a good point, because for developers, I mean, for tablet usage, and if this does fit under that category, like now you have to develop for Chrome OS where they may not have in the past, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you can, like you said, there is an Android store still available, but like something like that is still in beta, so you're not going to get a good experience, right? Like straight off the bat. Yeah.
So I think if you are thinking of getting this, just make sure you look into what you do every day. If it's in a browser, I think it's worth considering because Chrome OS is basically a Chrome browser with everything you currently use. If you start to sort of deviate from that into Adobe Premiere or any of those very heavy, sort of very intensive tools, you definitely get a proper laptop.
And I think going back to what you said about Google being like too obsessed with what customers are saying or users are saying, like you could do that, and that's not a bad thing. But then you also have to listen to the developers, right? And that's probably what Apple's doing. To create that ecosystem, to use that word again. And once you get the developers in, you get good products. That's another way to attract users.
Yes.
All right, so that's probably it's a Slate. It's a thing. It has a screen. It does stuff. That's my little.
It's got a keyboard. It's got a keyboard with round keys because apparently that helps reduce the error in terms of tapping into other keys as you type.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, if you're thinking about, you're trying to imagine what this looks like, it is a tablet with a detachable keyboard, almost like the Surface Pro. Apparently it's well priced. Apparently it feels good. It is 12.3 inches, which is the size of an iPad Pro. So things to take into consideration if you're thinking of getting one. Would we? I don't know. I still feel like the Surface or the iPad or the MacBook will still do what it does. Each do really well. I just don't know where, what kind of market they're going to go after.
And the pricing is like, it's too much. Like the lowest end is $599. It goes all the way to $15.99 US. On top of that, the keyboard is $199.
$199.
And there's a separate pen for it, of course, which doesn't work on the Pixel 3, as I has found out. That's another $99. So, you could spend up to.
Yeah, you could spend up to $2,000. Like if like $1,600 for the top version, plus the $200 for the keyboard, plus another $100 for the pen, which we still haven't seen such a good usage for. That's $2,000 US. Wow.
Yeah. Unlike the next product we're going to talk about, Google Home Hub, which is priced, I believe, $159.
That's right.
And it's, mind you, it's a much smaller screen. Are we ready to go to the Home Hub now?
Yeah, let's do it. It's the most, for me, it's personally, for me, it's the one I feel like is something that people are more likely to get.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's apparently very small. It's a 7-inch screen. So you can't quite tell that from the pictures that you're seeing. But, if you think about it, 7-inch is not that bigger than like a big like a Note 9, or what are we up to? Note 10? No, Note 9.
9.
Even like a Max, right? That's a 6.4 screen. So, yeah, here's Nilay Patel again from The Verge. He's got this to say.
Hey guys, it's Nilay from The Verge. I'm here with the new Google Home Hub. It's a new Google Home product. It's got this 7-inch display in the front. First thing I want to tell you is it's really small. It's a 7-inch display, but it's a lot smaller than you would expect. And if you just tap on it, you'll see there's not really like an interface or a home screen. It's just a list of actions you can take, and you can obviously talk to Google Assistant.
So that last part was the interesting part for me because, yeah, there's no interface, meaning there's no real OS or nothing that has a name for. It's driven by voice. There's certain gestures, like, you can pull down and get a menu. But I guess, yeah, no interface, which is interesting, right?
Yeah, and back to the size. I was looking for clips, I found this really funny one from CNet. This guy is very excited about the Google Home.
Ooh.
It's called the Google Home Hub, and look at this thing. It's so small it can fit in the palm of my hand.
Yeah, look at this thing. It's a 3-minute video. I think we'll see how we go. He covers everything about it almost too enthusiastically. But I would much rather go through your small clips and talk through it.
Okay. Okay. Well, put me on the spot. I've got another one. I think there's more to say about the lack of things on this device.
Yes, totally.
So lack of an interface, and here's another thing that it doesn't have.
There's no camera on the Home Hub. Google says they did add a camera because they want you to be able to put it in your bedroom and other private areas without worrying about it. That's a big decision. It's very different than the Echo Show or the Facebook Portal that just came out.
Yes, I didn't realize there was a Facebook device on this, but like compared to the Amazon Pixel, the Alexa show, Echo Show, where people are just freaking out because there's, we're being tracked everywhere. Google made a conscious decision to say, well, the hell with that. We're not going to put a camera. Not maybe there is one there that people don't know about, but it's an interesting thing.
I actually kind of like it.
What's that?
I actually kind of like that it doesn't have a camera because I was thinking about if I were to buy one, where I put it, and for some reason I was thinking of putting it on the dining table where we feed Maddie, where we have meals and stuff, and it's right in the center of my dining area, my living room, so we cross it every day. And May cooks around it, so there's a recipe feature in there that is amazing apparently. But also if I want to show Maddie a quick YouTube video to keep her occupied while I clean up, that I can do that as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I also think the other smart reason about not having a camera is video processing takes quite a bit of grunt. So even if you're trying to pull off video calling, it heats up. You're going to need, strong Wi-Fi for that to happen. So I feel like that is a good decision from Google.
Okay. Yeah, performance is another angle, I suppose, but I think it's more of a privacy play. Like, people just don't want cameras in your home, right? In general, although like every device has a camera. And it's, if you think about it, it's no more than a very simple low-powered phablet that has a stand with some simple speakers. That's all
absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of recipes, did you see the live demo fail?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna. Brian Tong's gonna introduce this one, I think.
But the most embarrassing moment of the keynote, when the pumpkin carving answer came up before our presenter finished his query.
Hey Google, show me how to carve a pumpkin.
Playing how to carve Halloween pumpkins on YouTube.
Oh, so it was pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, come on, like live demos are hard. So
I know, but
you could imagine someone just waiting for some cue to like press that button, and it's just like, oh shit. Brian Tong actually had another theory. Do you want to hear his other theory? Okay.
Or maybe Google does know everything we say before we even say it.
YouTube video. Now, Hub. Hey Google, show me how to carve a pumpkin.
Playing how to carve Halloween pumpkins on YouTube.
Yes, Google knows what we're thinking.
No, I prefer your theory, where someone screwed up and no longer has a job. Is sitting on the BART in San Francisco, just going round and round.
If you have a look at the video though, like the presenter was making like hand gestures, So I think the operator was probably like waiting for some audible cue, right? And
yeah.
He was like doing hand motions like YouTube recipe, and it just didn't work. Yeah.
That's funny.
Another very interesting angle, and it's something we've talked about on the podcast before. Like why, and we knew this was coming, right? A Google Home in the past, before this week, there was no screen. It's like a, and yeah, there's no interface because it's by voice only, right? That is the interface. Now, what's the value of having video content apart from being able to occupy your baby or get some recipe in the kitchen?
Ads.
That's right. Now we can serve ads.
Yes, and now we know what you're watching as well, which feeds back more data, right? Because when you were using only your voice, there were no search results, there was nothing you could play on, no touchscreen, so they had no data going through regards engagement. So now they're getting some of that back.
Yeah, so like they got the revenue back, I guess, if this takes off. If Google Home is just about catching up to the Amazon Echo, and Echo is going all in on screens. Do they have like an ad framework, ad network? I'm not sure.
It must be native. But well, that's the thing. We were talking about this. Amazon doesn't need an advertising platform. It just sells stuff.
The platform itself is
so it doesn't need that. Well, Google does.
Yeah. So most of their revenue, like for all Alphabet products, is from the Google ads. So as we transition into even from our phones to devices that are sort of in your home, like just there, like when you need it, then they need to serve ads to survive. So I think that this is what it's really about. I've got another awesome question from Emily Chang. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah, and more Emily.
Actually, this is just the question because and I've sort of left something right at the end on purpose.
Of course, there are renewed concerns about privacy. Google Plus was just revealed that there was a bug, meaning that data of hundreds of thousands of users could have been compromised. And trust in tech companies when it comes to privacy seems to be at an all-time low. Why should consumers believe you that their data is protected?
That was just the pause before he answered, which was like not even worth listening to anyway. But yeah, like that's I felt like this whole keynote had mixed messaging. Like it's like, yes, we have Titan security chip, but also on the same day the whole Google Plus thing happened. They use buzzwords like your personal Google. They use the word thoughtful a lot as well, like the thoughtful home and the thoughtful, the AI, right? So I don't know, it just felt a bit like, well, what are you actually trying to sell here? It's like going a little bit Apple in that sense.
I also, we were going through the Pixel 3 website with Beth this afternoon, and the whole digital well-being thing stood out again. I'm almost wondering whether Google is telling you subconsciously, look, we can look after you, but at a cost. Yeah, and that cost is a bit of your data so we can serve up more ads. But we can look out for you. I mean, one of the other things that's really interesting with the Google Home, if you've got a huge IoT setup at home with your smart bulbs and your locks and your Ring doorbells, it does all that. It integrates with everything. So you can see who's at the door. You can, speak to them. You can unlock your doors, et cetera, et cetera. So it is going to be a huge part of not just your online or digital security, but also your physical security. So you're going to have to trust it, and you're going to have to give up a little bit of your data to sort of get all that convenience.
They did mention the Nest for the first time in a while as well, didn't they? So it's tightly integrated with Nest thermostats. I don't know how widely it is used in Australia, but it is actually quite popular in the US. They touched on some of the UI to control all of that. Yeah, so that's the Google Made by Google event in a nutshell, really, in 50 minutes worth.
I think the other cool thing about the Google Home is it's got an RGB sensor, so if you switch off the lights, it goes off as well. So it doesn't have what they call the billboard effect. Which
actually, the last thing we probably didn't talk about it from the Pixel announcement was the stand.
Yes, the wireless charger.
Yes, but it's also a stand. It's like angled so that it's like a stand, I guess. And the phones are quite big. I guess if you turn it to the side, it's almost the size of the Home Hub. Literally.
Yeah. So if you put the Pixel 3 on it, it turns it into a Google Assistant device, which I think is kind of cool. But also, I think it's a big sort of, hey, Apple told you, we beat you to it. We have a wireless charger. You don't.
Yeah. Well, is it that? Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they did definitely make a point of it, and they showed a lot of like Apple stuff like that. What was that? The night sight view, the side by side of the night shot. A lot of people are saying, well, is that really taken from iPhone XS?
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, but interesting times. I guess it's been a big couple of weeks in terms of hardware phone announcements. We actually skipped the Microsoft event altogether because that happened right in between. What did they announce? That a new Surface Book?
Yes. To be honest, I've been trying to read up on this so much. I totally haven't covered the Microsoft event. But I think we also missed this. When's the Samsung event coming? Something
that is probably this or next week, I think.
Yeah. But on that note, this has been the 111 episode, which I kind of like. If you want to hear all the other 110 episodes, check out the website. That's thelazycouch.com. You can also find us on all the usual social networks, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, by searching for The Lazy Couch Podcast. And we're going on a bit of a break for 2 weeks, so speak to you then. Kelvin out.
Jeff out. We'll be back in November, I think. Is that right? Yeah.
It's November. Jesus.
November already, yeah. It's 2019 in a couple of months.
Samsung event.
This is the Galaxy event, is it?
Yeah, the Galaxy event.
Okay.
4 cameras.
Oh, that's less than 5.
4.
So 2 at the front, 2 at the back.
No, 4 at the back.
4 at the back. That's the rumor.
Yeah, on CNet.
Okay. Well, you could never have too many cameras. So you'll have 6 cameras maybe overall.
Oh wait, it was October 11. It's today. Now.
It's tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah. Maybe you wanna record that with Beth or Alex?
No, thank you. You know what I might do though? While you're away, I might look at making the website HTTPS.
Oh yeah.
Which might mess with our feed, so I'm kind of worried there. But while I'm messing with our feed, I want to see whether we can migrate to Washuka, and see what that's like.
I think it's pronounced Wushka.
Wushka. Washuka.
Washuka.
I don't know, man. Oh, it's midnight, so.
Oh yeah, you have to go to work.
Thank you.
I can sleep in.
Oh god. So you took the day off?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Well, I thought I had more to do, but it turns out I don't. Yeah.
That's cool.
But anyway, I've got too much leave. Yeah.
Really? I need to do something about that.
I've got more than 30 days, I think.
I have more than 30 days too now.
Oh, okay.
I need to do something about that. I need to go on a road trip in a van.